brought back from Russia and successfully hatched at Slimbridge. I remember hearing the news. It was an extraordinary and poignant moment, demonstrating what can be achieved when global conservation organisations work together. The knowledge gained from creating this captive population led to a development called head starting. Conservationists collected, incubated, and hatched the eggs on their breeding grounds, and then hand-reared the chicks ready for their safe release. This process helped increase the number of fledglings that survive each year by 20%, and since 2015, 180 sandpipers have been released back into the wild. Today, the population is estimated to be around 1,000 birds. In 2015, I was lucky enough to visit Sanadia Island in Bangladesh as part of the International Task Force to make account of the migratory population. Every winter, the sandpiper departs its remote breeding grounds in the far northeastern Russia to undertake a 8,000-kilometre migration, travelling along the coasts of Russia, China and South Korea, down to Myanmar and Bangladesh. Just 14 centimetres long, its comical, spoon-shaped bill is very much part of its unique identity, and the tool it uses to sift through mud and silt in pools on beaches, mudflats and other shallow wetland areas, in its search for small invertebrates to feast upon. As Mum and I boarded a motorboat to sail out to Sanadia Island's mudflats to begin counting, we had only one question in our minds. Were these winter visitors increasing or reducing in numbers? It was a hot day, and a heat shimmer lay over the land. Was that a sandpiper in the distance? Yes. There was its weird bill, its fluffy white underbelly and speckled brown and grey wings. It was strange to see the bird in the flesh and feathers, knowing it had successfully made its epic trip. This was a project I could get behind. The year before, I had launched my blog, Birdgirl, where I featured the many birds I had seen around the world. Now, I added the sandpiper's plight to my pages, and in Dhaka, I was able to use my growing social media platform to publicise the plight of the sandpiper through TV and national newspapers within Bangladesh, as well as to the Bangladeshi diaspora in the UK. I was launched on a lifelong campaign to highlight the impact of climate breakdown and human destruction on our natural environment, on birds, on the land, and on people. Birds serve as a kind of canary in the coal mine for climate change. The international effort for the spoon-billed sandpiper becomes all the more poignant when you imagine the predicted 1 metre rise in sea level would not only submerge Sanadia Island, but also almost 20% of Bangladesh, one of the most densely populated countries in the world, by 2050. A disaster for the sandpiper and humans alike. But if we save the sandpiper, we'll also save all the species of mammals, fish and insect life that share its precarious habitat. When I was 17 in 2020, I was invited to share the stage with the Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg at the Bristol Youth Strike for Climate rally. It was a long way from the mudflats of Sanadia Island, and over the years I had honed my message and my approach to activism. While the conservation projects of our birds and wildlife remain priorities for me, in front of an audience of 40,000, I spoke about those without a voice. For Indigenous peoples removed from their ancestral lands in the name of conservation, for the injustices visited upon the Global South in the name of climate change action. I found my own voice as a young teenager, and while the journey feels longer than the space of a few years, it is a voyage I intend to remain on. Closer to home and against the backdrop of my growing activism, family life was complicated. For much of my early childhood, Mum struggled with severe mental illness, veering between depression and mania, while my dad frantically searched for ways to make her feel better. Birds came to our rescue, time and time again, a vehicle for healing, taking us out of our lives with bursts of fresh colour, fresh wonder, providing enough sustenance to help us face whatever challenges lay in store. I haven't enjoyed an easy migration into adulthood, but I hope to share within these pages how everything started with birds. There's nothing like the moment when your target bird appears. You may have been waiting for hours, staring into the bleak sky, chilled to the bone by the wind.